Hi crafty friends, this is Jen from Guillotine Crafts and welcome back to the ScrapbookPal YouTube channel today. With my project today, I am getting into the holiday spirit. Even though the fall colors are in full bloom outside, it is never too early to start thinking about the holidays. I don't know about for you, but they certainly come fast and furious for me. Although snow can hold off a bit. I'm not ready for that quite yet. We've had a wonderful fall here in northern Maine, and I'm not ready for those temperatures to go away. All right, today's card, I am working with one of my very favorite stamping companies, Lawn Fawn, and this is their Joy to All stamp, which is from their new fall release, fall/winter release. Look at all these beautiful images, the cute little girl and boy and that Christmas tree. And then this is their window frame die cut. I love all the details that they have in this. The little curtain rod and the curtains, the valance, and then their Christmas garland. All of these are from the new release. In my project today, I cut out the window die and I decided to use my YR colors in order to color this in. And I'm going to use the YR23 to kind of map out where I'm going to have some darker areas. I am not being a stickler with my light and my shadows. I'm just trying to give it a little bit of depth and dimension. And you can see the three colors that I'm using are YR23, 24, and 27. I like that family together for some nice golden yellows. I'm just going to keep on building up those colors until I get my desired effect. And I'm going to also make sure that I don't have any white edges. So I'm going to take my Copic marker and go right along those edges to make sure that that is also covered with that golden yellow. When I have this much coloring to do in my card videos, I do always speed up my coloring process, but I always have those pen caps there on the edge or the side that you can see what colors I'm using, and you can follow along and see how I'm actually coloring it, how I always map out my colors and then pull it down with the medium tone, then go back over with my light again and smooth that all out. And I do believe that there's a way of slowing down the video if you wanted to see that a little bit slower, a little bit more in depth. This is definitely a very color intensive card, which that's what I like to do the most. I love to use my Copic markers and color. I actually like to even fill out the Copic marker charts or the little blending images that you can get. I just like to color with my markers. And now you can see that I'm filling in that die cut garland with my Copic marker. You can cut that out in like a solid cardstock if you want, but then if you cut it out with a white cardstock and use your Copic markers, you have a little bit more control over your details that you can add. As you can see, I flicked on a few pine needles to my little garland. And then also with this bow, that gives me a little bit more choice to have a few more shadows and add a little bit more depth to those if I use my Copic markers. And I know that this is super fast. And now I'm filling in those little berries, as you can see. I'm using my tweezers to help because the parts are so tiny. And then I'm going to start filling in the little candy canes. And some of these images are so super tiny that there's really no blending to be done. So just a solid color is fine. I'm going to color in all these cute little Christmas ornaments and bulbs. There's so many fine details. I think this is why I like Lawn Fawn so well, is because of the details that they provide. And as you can see, if you look in the top left-hand corner right now, you can see the first background that I tried and it just wasn't doing it for me. So I decided to go another route, and I will show you that a little bit later in the video. I just didn't want you to wonder what the heck that background was up there in the corner that's not going to go into use. And I'm still coloring in all those cute little presents with all the little details. Trying to use a lot of bright, bold colors with this card. So are any of you getting ready and prepared for the holidays yet? I have been reading that some of the holiday shopping is going to be a little bit tricky this year. So I've actually asked my kids to go ahead and make their lists so I can get a head start. So they have been working on that, but I have yet to start. I don't know. The temperatures here have still been really warm and the colors are absolutely gorgeous. I just can't switch gears yet and think about the holidays and the cold. Yeah, but although I guess getting into the Christmas spirit with this card is going to be helpful. And I have been brainstorming some ideas with my sister for our family Christmas card. Last year we did the whole Griswold family kind of Christmas card. It was really super cute. So I think we're going to keep that tradition alive and do something with our two families again. We shall see how that all works out and what we will come up with this year. So aren't these little kids, the little boy and the girl, super cute? I love the PJ set of the little fella there. I love that little onesie with the back flap. So super cute. So what I'm going to do for my window scene is cut another die cut of the window and then layer a piece of white cardstock that's 2.5 by 3.5 on that. And then I'm going to cut this silver piece the same size from Lawn Fawn's Let It Shine Snowflakes paper, which has some super cute foiled paper inside, but I was trying to get a wallpaper background kind of look on this. In this way I have something to build my scene on, and then I can just sandwich those two window frames together. I'm showing you how I handled all the little light bulbs and the ornaments. I used my Nuvo glitter marker in silver and hit the little tips, the little hanging tips with those to give that a little bit of shimmer to look like the metal. And then I'm using liquid glass to go over each to give that the nice dimension and the shine on all those bulbs and the little light bulbs as well, all the Christmas ornaments and light bulbs. And then as you can see, I went around the edges with that same light green that I used on the Christmas tree, and that way it will blend and not be the stark white on top of the Christmas tree when I add the ornaments and the balls. Put a little Winkastella clear on that star, and then once I was done with that whole process, I had put them on an index card so I could put that to the side and let that all dry overnight. And now I'm going to work on this bow a little bit. I thought we still needed a little bit of dimension in the little top ribbon part of that, and so I'm going to just add a little bit of darker R27 to the middle and to the top and just make that look like it's curved around. And then I didn't really like that middle thing that was hanging there. I'm not sure if I didn't put it together correctly, but I just thought I'd snip that right out and make it look like a traditional bow to me. And now I'm going to sparkle all the things with my glitter pen, my Winkastella clear glitter pen, because you can't have enough shimmer and shine. The Winkastella clear pen is definitely one of my favorite tools. You will see that I use it on mostly every one of my cards, actually. There's probably not one that I don't use it on. I just like all that shimmer. It's a light shimmer and you don't ever have to worry about the Copic markers smearing. So it is perfect. And now I'm just going to add a little color to those stockings. And I am adding a little bit darker. The Y24 wasn't quite dark enough, so I went back with that Y27. And again, I'm going to sparkle that. Even though I had just colored that with Copic markers, it still didn't smear when I did it on with the Winkastella. So this is how I handled the background. After I did not like that first one, I decided to try again. And so I'm using Lawn Fawn's die cut called Simple Stripes Portrait. And then I'm just going to use the new Prize Ribbon Color Distress Oxide ink around the edges. Just like that. I'm just going to brush it on. And then I'm going to build that back onto a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 4.25. So the typical A2 size card base. And that's what that Simple Stripes Portrait die cut is made for. It is made for the A2 cards. I'm just going to build that back up by gluing each individual stripes or strips. And to me, this looked like clapboard or siding. So that's what made me go with that. It doesn't have any texture, but either does that really. So that's what I decided to do with my background. And I did prefer this. I was trying to create my own look like that, and it just wasn't working for me today. So when it doesn't work, you go to plan B, and this was my plan B. And now I didn't want it to be completely white, So I am taking my C2 color Copic marker, and I did not flip that cap up for you. I am sorry. But that is C2, so it's nice and light. And I'm just gonna go over that. And then it did take me a couple strips to realize that I really didn't need to color in that middle where the window is gonna go. So I stopped worrying about that. And then I also wanted to point out that I noticed that the Distress Oxide inks didn't blend with the Copic marker, so therefore I could go on top of that without worrying about bothering my marker tip or smearing my card. Now I didn't get this quite on perfectly somehow, so I'm just going to snip off that little bit of a smidgen of an edge. And now I can build my little window scene. I just wanted to make sure I was going to put that in a spot where it was going to still be visible. Not too high, not too low, kind of right in the middle. Going to add the tree, and then I'm going to build the tree with all of the little decorations. Now I really do love the look of the liquid glass on these ornaments and bulbs. It really does give it that shine, just like the traditional Christmas bulbs that you put on your tree. And the dimension is there, you can feel it, you can see it. So it gives it a little bit of a realistic look to me. Once we have that tree decorated, we can add the little kids back in, and I wanted them to be holding gifts. So I'm going to put those in their little hands. And again, I was just checking my placement and sliding them up. That's why I love my liquid glue, because it gives you that little bit of time to wiggle things around and move it. What I do is I lightly put it down, and then once I decide that that's the way it needs to be or where it can go, then I push it down a little bit harder. And now I'm going to sandwich that window on top of the other one. And you can pick that up and tap it and make sure that you get it nice and even. And then we have to give her just a little bit of a haircut. Her ponytail was hanging out just a little bit on the side, so I just lifted that again because of the liquid glue, and then just snip that flush. And then we have our cute little window scene. And now we have to add that garland on the outside, and then decorate it with the bow in the middle and add some of those berries. Now you really can't see that star underneath, but still I added it. You can see it a little bit, so you have an idea that that's on there, and it's supposed to be on there looking like the layered look. And then those berries are super small, but it really does add to the whole look. And I did put the liquid glass on those as well. And this is when the tweezers come in super handy when you have very small pieces like this. There are several very nice sentiments in this set. I chose one of the longer ones, which says, "May all your Christmas wishes come true." I just like the way that that fits on the bottom. So I stamped that out, and then I used a sentiment banner die in my stash. And then I'm going to adhere my window to my panel. And if you noticed, I also colored in that sentiment with a matching color from my scene. I like to do that so everything coordinates perfectly. And I am going to pop up my sentiment with some foam squares. There is some dimension already in that window, and this just helps give it that a little bit more interest. And now it's time to adhere the panel to my card base, which is 5.5 by 8, and then I scored it at the 4 1/4. So that is perfect for an A2 size card. And then we have it, our finished project. Well, one more small detail. Well, I did put a little surprise in with those extra stockings in inside the card. And then I'm going to add just this little gem on that bow, that little ribbon, and that really covers that seam well and just makes that card perfect. Thank you so much for crafting with me again today. Everything I used in my video you can find at ScrapbookPal.com. They have an amazing variety and really super fast shipping times. This is also my last project on the design team. My year term ends this month. I have loved being on this team immensely, and I appreciate them having me. I hope to guest in the future. I wish the new team good luck, and Scrapbook Pal lots of longevity. Thank you so much for crafting with me. Take care.